welcome to this channel. I'm going to be reading the book don't mind that bookmark, Animal Farm. So I'm doing this for a school thing, but I know I won't read it if I don't read it like maybe to someone or evenly just to a camera. So I figured just create this channel and do some reading on here. I might do Reddit stories later on. But if you have any like book recommendations you want me to do, I can read that as well if I just go to my school library and try to check it out. Do apologize for how I look throughout this video. I was sick today and yesterday, so I wasn't feeling too well and really didn't want to change to do the first video. I know usually the first video you try to just as nice as possible, but I don't feel well. But I will be reading chapter 1. Please do be kind, and if I pronounce any words wrong, leave in the comments how I'm supposed to pronounce them, because I really don't know. My dog just took my sandal. You are going to see a little dog named Leo later on in the video. I do hope you love him as much as I do. He's sassy. Yeah. Please do enjoy. Bye. Okay. Chapter 1. Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm had locked the hen houses for the night, but was too drunk to remember to shut the popholes with the ring of light from his lantern dancing from side to side. He lurched across the yard, kicked off his boots at the backyard, drew himself a last glass of beer from the barrel in the scullery, and made his way up to bed where Mrs. Jones was already snoring. As soon as the light in the bedroom went out, there was a stirring and fluttering all through the farm buildings. Word had gone around during the day that old Major, the prize middle white boar, had a strange dream on the previous night, in which communicated to the other animals. It had been agreed that they all should meet in the big barn as soon as Mr. Jones was safely out of the way. Old Major, so he was always called, though the name under which he had been exhibited was Wellington's Beauty, was so highly regarded on the farm that everyone was quite ready to lose an hour's sleep in order to hear what he had to say. At one end of the barn, on the sort of raised platform, Major was already ensconced on his bed of straw under a lantern which hung from the beam. He was 12 years old and had lately grown rather stout, but he was still a majestic-looking pig with a wise and benevolent appearance. In spite of the fact that his tushes had never been cut, before long the other animals began to arrive and make themselves comfortable after their different fashions. First came the 3 dogs, Bluebell, Jessie, and Pincher, then the pigs, who settled down in the straw immediately in front of the platform. The hens perched themselves on the window sills, the pigeons fluttered up to the rafters, the sheep and the cows lay down behind the pigs and began to chew the cud. The 2 cart horses, Boxer and Clover, came in together, walking very slowly and settling down, their vast hairy hooves with great care, lest there be some small animal concealed in the straw. Clover was a stout motherly mare approaching middle life, who had never quite got her figure back after her 4th foal. Boxer was an enormous beast, nearly 18 hands high, and as strong as any 2 ordinary horses put together. A white stripe down his nose gave him somewhat of a stupid appearance, and in fact he was not of first-rate intelligence, but he was universally respected for his steadiness of character and tremendous powers of work. After the horses came Muriel, the white goat, and Benjamin, the donkey. Benjamin was the oldest animal on the farm, and he was the worst-tempered. He seldom talked, and when he did, it was usually to make some clinical response. For instance, he would say that God had given him a tail to keep the flies off, but that he would sooner have no tail and no flies. Alone, among the animals on the farm, he had never laughed. If asked why, he would say that he saw nothing to laugh at. Nevertheless, without openly admitting it, he was devoted to Boxer. The 2 of them usually spent their Sundays together in the small paddock beyond the orchard, gazing side by side and never speaking. The 2 horses had just lain down with the brood of ducklings, which had lost their mother. filed into the barn, being feebly and wandering from side to side to find some place where they would not be trodden on. Clover made a sort of wall round them with her great foreleg, and the ducklings nestled down inside it, and promptly fell asleep. At the last moment, Molly, the foolish pretty white mare who drew Mr. Jones's trap, came mincingly, daintily, in chewing of a lump of sugar. She took place near the front and began flirting her white mane, hoping to draw attention to the red ribbons it was plaited with. Last of all came the cat, who looked round as usual for the warmest place, and finally squeezed herself in between Boxer and Clover. There she purred contentedly throughout Major's speech, without listening to a word of what he was saying. All the animals were now present except Moses, the tame raven, who slept on the perch behind the back door. When Major saw that they all had made themselves comfortable and began waiting attentively, he cleared his coat and began. Comrades, you have heard already the strange dream that I had last night, but I will come to the dream later. I have something else to say first. I do not think, comrades, that I shall be with you for many months longer, and before I die, I feel it my duty to pass on such wisdom as I required. I had a long life, and I had much time for thought as I lay alone in my stall, and I think I may say that I understand the nature of life on this earth as well as any animal now living. It is about this that I wish to speak to you. Now, comrades, what is the nature of this life of ours? Let us face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. We are born, we are given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies, and those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. In the very instant that our usefulness has come to an end, we are slaughtered with hideous cruelty. No animal in England knows the meaning of happiness or leisure after he is a year old. No animal in England is free. The life of an animal is misery and slavery. That is the plain truth. But is this simply part of the order of nature? Is it because this land of ours is so poor that it cannot afford a decent life for those who dwell upon it? No, comrades, 1,000 times no. The soil of England is fertile, its climate is good, it is capable of affording food in abundance to enormously greater numbers of animals than now inhabit it. The single farm of ours will support a dozen horses, 20 cows, hundreds of sheep, and all of them living in comfort and dignity that are now almost beyond our imagination. Why then do we continue in this miserable condition? Because nearly the whole of the human produce of our labor is stolen from us by human beings. Their comrades is the answer to all of our problems. It's summed in a single word: man. Man is the only real enemy we have. Remove man from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. He does not give milk. He does not lay eggs. He is too weak to pull the plow. He cannot run fast to catch rabbits. Yet he is the lord of all the animals. He sets them to work. He gives back to them the bare minimum that will prevent them from starving, and then rest he keeps for himself. Our labor tills the soil, our dung fertiles it, and yet there is not one of us that owns more than his bare skin. You cows that I see before me, how many thousands of gallons of milk have you given during this last year? And what has happened to the milk which should have been breeding up sturdy calves? Every drop of it has gone down to the throats of our enemies. And you hens, how many eggs have you laid in the last year? And how many of those eggs have ever hatched chickens? The rest of them have all gone to the market to bring in money for Jones and his men. And you, Clover, there are 4 fools you have bore. Who should have been the support and pleasure of your old age? Each was sold a year old. You will never see one of them again. In return for your 4 confidence, I don't know how to say that word, I'm so sorry. And all of your labor in the fields, what you ever had except your bare rations and stall? And even the miserable lives we lead are not allowed to reach their natural span. For myself, I do not grumble, for I am the lucky one. I am 12 years old. Natural life of a pig, but no animal escapes a cruel knife in the end. You young porkers who are sitting in front of me, every one of you will scream your lives out at the block within a year. To the horror we must almost come. Cows, pigs, hens, sheep, everyone, even the horses and the dogs, know better fate. You boxer, though every day that those great muscles of yours lose their power, Jones will sell you to the knacker, who will cut your throat and boil you down for the foxhounds. As for the dogs, when they grow old and toothless, Jones ties a brick round their necks and drowns them in the nearest pond. Is it not crystal clear, then, comrades, that all the evil of life of our spring from the tyranny of human beings only get rid of man, and the produce of our labor would be our own? Almost overnight we could become rich and free. What then we must do? What then must we do? Why work day and night, body and soul, for the overthrow of the human race? That is my message to you, comrades. Rebellion. I do not know when the rebellion will come. It might be in a week or in 100 years, but I know as surely as I see this straw beneath my feet that sooner or later justice will be done. Fix your eyes on that, comrades. Although, comrades, throughout the short reminder of your lives, and above all, pass this message of mine to those who come after you, so that future generations shall carry on the struggle until it is victorious. And remember, comrades, your resolution must never falter. No argument must lead you astray. Never listen when they tell you that man and the animals have a common interest, that prosperity, the one is the prosperity of the others. It is all lies. Man serves the interests of no creature except himself, and among us animals let there be perfect unity, perfect comradeship in the struggle. All men are enemies, all animals are comrades. At this moment there will be tremendous uproar. While Major was speaking, 4 large rats had crept out of their holes and were sitting on their hind quarters listening to him. The dogs had suddenly caught sight of them, and it was only by a swift dash from their holes that the rats saved their lives. Major raised his trotter for silence. Comrades, he said, here is a point that must be settled. The wild creatures, such as rats and rabbits, are they our friends or enemies? Let us put it to the vote. I propose this question to the meeting. Are rats comrades? The vote was taken at once, and it was agreed by an overwhelming majority that rats were comrades. There were only 4 dissenters, the 3 dogs and the cat, who was afterwards discovered to have voted on both sides. Major continued, I have little more to say. I merely repeat, remember always your duty of enmity towards man in all his ways. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Whatever. Remember also that in fighting against man we must not come to don't bite my book. Resemble him. Even when you have conquered him, do not adapt his vices. No animal must ever live in a house, or sleep in a bed, or wear clothes, or drink alcohol, or smoke tobacco, or touch money, or engage in trade. All the habits of man are evil, and above all, no animal must ever tyrannize over his own kind. Weak or strong, clever or simple, we all are brothers. No animal must ever kill any other animal. All animals are equal. And now, comrades, I will tell you about my dream of last night. I cannot describe the dream to you. It was a dream of the earth, as it will be when man has vanished, but it reminded me of something that I had long forgotten. Many years ago, when I was a little pig, my mother and the other sows used to sing old songs of which they knew only the tune and 3 words. I had known the tune in my infancy, but it had long since passed out of my mind. Last night, however, it came back to me in a dream, and what is more, the words of the song also came back, words, I am certain, which were sung by animals of long ago and have been lost to memory for generations. I will sing you that song now, comrades. I am old, and my voice is hoarse, but when I have taught you this tune, you can sing it. Better for yourselves, it is called Beasts of England. Old Major cleared his throat and began to sing, as he had his voice hoarse, but he sang it well enough. It was a stirring tune, something between Clementine and La Cucaracha. The words ran, give me 1 second before I... Don't worry, I won't drown you with a brick. I will never do that. No. Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken to my joyful tidings of you, the golden future time. Soon or late the day is coming, tyrant man shall be your throne, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trod by beasts alone. Leo. Rings shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our back. Beard and spurs shall rust forever, cool whips will no more shall crack. I messed that one up. Riches more than mine can picture, wheat and barley oats. Wheat and barley, oats and hay, clover, beans, and mangled wills shall be yours upon that day. Bright will shine the fields of England, purer shall its waters be, sweeter yet shall blow its breezes on the day that sets us free. For the day we all must labor through, we die before it break. Cows and horses, geese and turkeys, all must toil for freedom's sake. Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken well and spread my tidings of golden future time. That was the best I can do. I'm so sorry if you did not like it. I was just sick. I'm sick right now, so I probably shouldn't have done that. The singing of the song threw the animals into the wildest excitement. Almost before Major had reached the end, they had begun singing it for themselves. Even the stupidest of them had already picked up the tune, and a few of the words, and for the clever ones, such as the pigs and dogs, they had the entire song by heart within a few minutes. And then after a preliminary tries, the whole farm burst into it. Beasts of England in tremendous union. Leo, you want to read the book too? The cows lowed it, the dogs whined it, the sheep belted it, the horses whined it, the ducks quacked it. They were so delighted with the song that they sang it right through 5 times in succession, and might have continued singing it all night if they had not been interrupted. Unfortunately, the uproar awoke Mr. Jones, who sprang out of his bed, feeling sure that there was a fox in the yard. He seized the gun which always stood in the corner of his bedroom and let fly 6... He seized the gun which always stood in the corner of his bedroom and let fly a charge of number 6 shots into the darkness. The pelts buried themselves in the wall of the barn, and the meeting broke up hurriedly. Everyone fled to his or own sleeping place. The birds jumped onto their perches, the animals settled down in the straw, and the whole farm was asleep in a moment. That's it. Thank you for listening. Leo did not like my singing because he left, but that was chapter 1, Animal Farm. I'm so sorry for the grammar mistakes I made. I do hope you are following along in your own book, and if anything, just leave in the comments how I pronounce words that I mispronounced or whatever. Hopefully another day I'll be dressed better. You guys gotta catch me in my comfy sweater. But yeah, if you have any books you want me to read, if anything, I'll look in my school's library and I'll try to see if I can read them. You know, I probably should be reading. But yeah, bye! Okay, I just want to say this. I realized when I was putting the video into like a time frame and everything, I am slouching throughout the whole thing. No wonder why my back hurts all the time. So just a reminder, for whoever's listening to this, fix your posture. Yeah, because I was sitting like this, like literally the whole time. I didn't realize until the video was over. I was sitting like this. Like what? I don't know. Stop judging me, Leo. Stop judging me in the corner. Anyway, bye.